Hey, happy Mother's Day. It's so cold here. It literally snowed yesterday in the middle of May. Great to know that our planet is still dying. So, you would think that maybe this would be an apropos time for me to review Frozen on Broadway, which I was planning on doing, but I don't really feel like it right now. So instead, here's a video about waffles. So something my family likes to do on special occasions, well, is to go to Chengdu 23, the best Chinese restaurant in New Jersey, but we can't do that right now. So something they like to ask me to do for special breakfasts is to make waffles. Now I keep my waffle recipe in this little line notebook, and I've written, you can see besides the normal recipe I have, the amount of ingredients needed for only half the recipe. So that's what I'm going to be making this time. But I will put the full recipe in the description in case you want to do that. So you just kind of mix the dry ingredients together, and then you're going to need to melt some butter. So I like to just put the butter into a microwave safe bowl and microwave it in order to melt it. So you mix your wet ingredients. I like to microwave my milk a little bit before I add the melted butter, because if you're adding the melted butter to cold milk, then like the butter's just gonna kind of solidify again, and that's not great. You don't want that. So here's the part that makes this recipe look complicated, even though it's really not, is that you separate an egg. So you put the yolk right in with the rest of the wet ingredients, the butter and the milk. And then that egg white that you separated out, you beat that until you've got like stiff peaks. And then you want to combine all your ingredients. Now, it is so cold that my wet ingredients actually solidified. So I went ahead and microwaved that again to make them liquid again. And what I like to do is add a little bit of my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients, sort of mix it up, and then add a little more and mix it up again, and then of course add the rest and finish mixing those together. Now, I don't really bother trying to be really thorough when I'm mixing. I remember when I was a child, I used to try so hard to get out every single lump, and it took forever. But I think that you actually mess up the texture of something when you do that. Like maybe you're putting too much air in it or something. I don't know. But I guess it is a good way to distract children. So if you have small children to entertain, you can ask them to help you by asking them to mix something until all the lumps are gone. And that's going to take ages. So you add in your egg whites that you whipped up earlier. And now they call this folding it in. I'm not really folding, you can see, but I just sort of very lightly combine it. You don't really want to mix it too much because you're going to lose all the air that you just beat into the egg white. As you can see, my final product, the egg whites are still like super clumpy and not super combined in. So go over to your waffle iron. I like to just put a little butter on my waffle iron as well, so that later on it's going to be really easy to get the waffles out. They're not going to stick to it too much. And you just add your batter in there. Don't add too much, like fill it up. You really don't need to fill the entire thing. Also try not to spill it everywhere the way that I do. But yeah, because it's going to expand when it cooks, and it will seep out the sides to make a huge mess on your counter. I do this practically every time I make waffles. It's a problem. Anyway, now, I guess all waffle makers are probably different. Mine has a little light on it, and supposedly, when the light goes off, the waffle's done. But that's not true. And also, supposedly, when steam stops coming out, that means all the moisture's gone from your waffles, and then they're ready. But that also does not really work for me, that method. I've discovered that 7 minutes is usually a good time to cook my waffles, although, you know, mileage may vary. And of course, I can only really do one waffle at a time, and since they take so long, you kind of need to keep them warm, so I like to just stick them in the oven in the meantime to keep them warm. Anyway, something that my family likes to do a lot when we have waffles or pancakes is to make this little thing, just some sour cream, some sugar, and some vanilla extract. And you can just combine that and to get it's really beautiful and silky smooth. This is a great alternative to like whipped cream. It's not as sweet, or if you just don't have heavy cream around. You can stick that on your waffle with some fruit, like these are some apple that I just added some brown sugar and cinnamon, or you could always do the old chocolate and banana combo, always a winner. And that's how you can make waffles very easily. It's a great option for you to make something that seems a little special for breakfast or any time of day, really.